Welcome to another episode in our Unified English Braille series. This presentation is titled Lower Word Signs, Understanding Lower Word Signs in UB. I'm Ryan Apario, and today we will explore how certain short words like be, his, was, and were are represented in Braille using special single-cell contractions called lower word signs. I will also describe the dot configurations and explain when and how these word signs should be used, especially in relation to punctuation. On this slide, we ask the question, what are lower word signs? Lower word signs are special contractions in Braille where a whole word is represented by just one Braille cell. However, unlike most word signs you may know, the dots are located in the lower half of the Braille cell. These signs are divided into two groups. First, lower word signs that may not be in contact with lower punctuation like hyphens or dashes. Second, lower word signs that, in some cases, may be in contact with punctuation. In this episode, we will focus on the first group. Slide 4 is titled Lower Word Signs that may not be in contact with lower punctuation. This group includes the words be, his, was, and were. These words are represented as follows. Be uses dots 2 and 3, that's equivalent to lower b. His uses dots 2, 3, and 6, lower h. Was uses dots 3, 5, and 6, lower j. Were uses dots 2, 3, 5, and 6, lower g. These contractions are designed to be brief, but because of their dot positions, they must follow strict rules regarding punctuation, which we'll look at next. This slide is titled Why Punctuation Matters. The words be, his, was, and were, when written using lower word signs, must not be in contact with lower punctuation marks. That includes punctuation that uses dots in the lower part of the Braille cell, such as hyphens and dashes. However, they can be written next to round brackets, also known as parentheses, because these use dots in the upper part of the Braille cell. They can also be used with capital indicators. So remember, the issue here is where the punctuation appears in the cell. Slide 6 explains the usage rules of lower word signs. First, each lower word sign must stand alone. That means you cannot use these contractions inside longer words. For example, you can't use the be contraction in the word before. Second, lower word signs can be used in combination with capital indicators or brackets, but only when they are written as individual words. So, no touching lower punctuation, no embedding in longer words, and yes to capitals and parentheses. Slide 7 shows examples of correct usage. Let's read through these and describe the Braille. Be glad is correctly brailled as dot 6 as capital indicator and dots 2, 3 space, glad, exclamation mark. That is, the word sign for be, then the word glad followed by the exclamation sign. His idea in Braille is dot 6, then dots 2, 3, 6 for his, followed by the word idea. That is, the word sign for his followed by the word idea. It was fine. Becomes dot 6 then letter X as it, followed by the word sign for was, then the word fine with the contraction of in. Using strong word sign X, was as dots 3, 5, 6, and fine. Lastly, you were glad is written in Braille as dot 6 before letter Y then the word sign for were, followed by the word glad then period. Now let's go through incorrect usage examples shown in slide 8. First, be glad is incorrectly written using the lower word sign for be. Here, the quotation mark is touching the lower word sign be, which is not allowed. Second, the word his appears inside quotation marks and transcribed in Braille using the lower word sign for his or lower h. This is also incorrect since the lower word sign his touches the punctuation. Third, was that it? Is incorrectly brailled as was tx8. Here, the dash touches the lower word sign was, which breaks the rule. In all these cases, the correct approach is to spell out the word in full. Underscore 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 underscore. underscore 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 underscore. In summary, here are the key points about lower word signs. The words be, his, was, and were are lower word signs in UB. They must always stand alone, must never touch lower punctuation, and can be safely used with capital signs and brackets. Using them correctly improves reading speed and Braille efficiency. Thank you for joining today's video lesson on lower word signs. Be sure to watch more videos in this Braille series and practice with sample sentences using correct punctuation and spacing. For more evidence-based content on accessibility, literacy, and Braille, subscribe to our channel, Ryan Collab Operaio. Keep learning, keep Brailing.